So there we go. Hello, welcome to Traffic. My name is Andy Brocklehurst. It is an absolute honor to be here, really. And for those that don't know me, I'm going to give you a quick potted history of me, just so that you know where I come from and why you should even listen to what I say. Uh, I fell into internet marketing. It wasn't something that I set out to do. I was a techie, a programmer, a geeky coder that sat behind a computer and did things. I didn't want to be public facing. I didn't particularly want to be in front of people. And so that suited me. But you know what frustrated me was that I was getting well paid jobs. And don't get me wrong, I was very privileged and lucky. I was getting paid good money to write code for people. And then I saw that those people were taking that code and selling it, and I saw how much they were making. And I was like, you know what? If I could learn that marketing bit, because that's where they're making hundreds of times what I made for doing the work. Now, I didn't mind. I was getting paid. Like I say, that's how it works. That's how, outsourcing works and things like that. But I wanted to get myself around and basically be on the seller's side of the table. And that's what marketing is largely about. I recognized that if I could get around that side of the table, number one, I could take anything I wrote myself and promote it myself and make all that extra money. And secondly, I could then promote other things. And so if I saw a product or service I really liked, I could strike a deal with somebody. I mean, this was going way back to before we had the internet in some respects. My first marketing of software was done on it was an early version of the internet. It was bulletin boards before we had the World Wide Web. That's how long I've been messing with this stuff. I went full time internet marketing in 1999. I had been self employed prior to that. I'd had a computer business. I've always been entrepreneurial. I always recognized that working for yourself was the best way to freedom. If you wanted to have the maximum time freedom, money freedom, or whatever freedom you want, you get to call all the shots. Now, that's a big responsibility too, but you are the sort of guys that are taking that responsibility and doing that stuff. So I've over the years built many websites, many products. I've marketed all sorts of products and services online, both my own products and products of other people's. And then I got into mentoring people and actually teaching them how to build businesses from scratch and doing all of this. And the one thing that has repeatedly comes up with people when they come and speak to me is they go, I just don't know how to get the traffic to XYZ. Now, when we deep dive that, a couple of interesting things happen. Number one is I actually find that quite often traffic isn't really their problem. Um, for an awful lot of people, you can turn a traffic tap on this afternoon if you want, right? There are a billion places online I can tell you about, and I will. I'll give you places that you can go and you can get traffic and you can pay them and you can immediately send traffic to the website. But what they miss in this process is so much of understanding what they're actually doing. You see, there's a big difference. There's more than one type of traffic. There's targeted traffic and untargeted. There's absolutely untargeted traffic means you have no idea if the people coming in are interested and you've got to kind of cold hook them. Now, is that cheap traffic? Yeah, super cheap. But you're going to have to buy an awful lot of it and filter out all the chaff just to get the few little bits. So I'm going to talk about how we target, what targeting is, thinking about where your audience is. So a lot of this is going to be traffic theory, but I promise you, everyone I've ever worked with, it has been changing their mind about how they think about traffic and what they're driving it to and how they're doing it that makes all the difference. Anyone can learn how to go to Facebook and do Facebook ads, right? Just go to Facebook, watch all the help videos and read through the help. Not very exciting, but it will get you there. But what it won't do is get you thinking like a marketer. They're making you think like their consumer. They want you to spend as much as possible. What we're not going to be doing in this training is watching over my shoulder while I set up Facebook accounts or I set up all that sort of stuff. All right. This is the in the trenches, what you really need to know to make all that stuff work. Anyone can pick up that stuff. You can watch a free YouTube video tonight and you will know how to set up and run a Pinterest ads account, for example. So we're going to group, and I'm going to talk in general terms as much as possible. Several reasons for that. One is I want this training to be as evergreen as possible. And number two, these genuinely are the sticking points for people. A lot of the times people come in and go, no, just tell me where to get traffic. And I go, well, I can. All right, there you go. There's where to get traffic. And if they just run away and send that load of clicks, it doesn't do anything for them. And they come back and go, well, that didn't work. And I say, well, what were you sending the traffic to? You see, that's where we have to really start. You've got to look at what you're sending it to what the focus is. We're going to be talking a lot. I've got plenty of notes. So let's imagine that this circle is the whole of the World Wide Web. And in there is everybody that is online. Absolutely everyone in the whole world. So your particular niche, whatever it is, product, service, is only going to be of interest to, a very small, each dot in here probably represents hundreds of thousands of people. And it's your little bit of the internet that's actually interested in you might be here, right? The problem is when you go to a cheap traffic source, what are they sending you? You don't know. So for a start, you've got, if you are like most of us doing business with English-speaking countries, that pretty much probably cuts all this out for a start. There's going to be a few in there that can understand it. And then if you've only got this little bit, so when you buy really cheap traffic and they say, yeah, we're going to send you 1,000 clicks, what if they come from there? It's not going to do you any good at all, is it? There's no one in that that's going to convert you. You see, anyone can get visitors. That's why you see people online offering products and services that say, get thousands of visitors to your website. Anyone can do that. I could send any one of you here, if you gave me your web address, I could send 1 million visits to it in the next 10 minutes. And all it would do is grind your server to a halt, because it would be 1 million people that are not interested in what you have to offer. Here's my site with my headline and my whatever on it. Okay, so where's the audience for this? So I'll give you some examples, because I work in a lot of different niches. Basically my whole philosophy behind marketing these days, I'm very much in it for the lifestyle of the business. I used to be very money driven, and I've made lots of money. I've done all that, but I found that that's not the route to happiness. The route to happiness is time freedom and getting to enjoy life and doing those things. And so what I do now is I continue to do what I do, but I do it on a smaller scale because I'm quite happy doing that. So I don't employ thousands of people, but I do employ outsourcers, and we'll be talking about that as we go as well. Where is my audience? Okay, so let's say, for example, I'll give you real world examples. I've got some horoscope and astrology sites out there. And again, I'm going to talk about all sorts of niches today. There's no judgment here. I don't care what niche people are in. In fact, I'm going to give you another example in a minute of something in a very sort of taboo niche to talk about in marketing, but I don't think it is. Free traffic. Right, here's the thing. There isn't any. It doesn't exist. This whole concept is a complete misnomer. Every bit of traffic that you get, you either have to do something to get or pay to get. So all traffic is either going to cost you your time or money, one or other. A lot of people make the classic mistake of not valuing this commodity as much as they should, and we need to change our thinking on this. Now, when I go out and post on, yeah, I do all of those things, but I do it in a reasonable amount. I see some people that honestly, that they are spending several hours a day posting ads on pointless places, trying to get a click, trying to get a whatever, out of desperation and thinking this doesn't work. And a lot of it is because they don't value this. Oh, I've got 2 touch points with John. he's subscribed to my YouTube, he's going to get updated when I put videos out. Hopefully, he's hit the old ring-a-ling-ding-a-ling notification bell, which is why we encourage people to do that, right? So now you've got a second touch point with John. And then also, you might have over here, we might have a social media platform. We'll say that this social media platform is called BookFace. And you've got an account on BookFace with a profile, all connected to this niche, incidentally. Or you can have a page on BookFace or whatever it is, right? So that's connected to the niche. And now John gets either gets an email or it's mentioned in your bio on here that you could be followed on Facebook. And so John goes, oh yeah, I'm going to follow them on Facebook as well. Now I've got 3 touch points with John. They have to be subjected to and see that offer 7 times. How are you going to do that if you run an ad that sends them to a web page and lets them bugger off? You're not. You touch them 1 time with the offer. Whereas if you capture that email address, if you drive them to your social platforms, if you get them to subscribe to you on various other channels, you can now get that same offer in front of them that all the times that is going to be needed. Now, when we say on average 7, that means for some people it's less than, right? Some people 1 or 2 visits. Some people are on the first visit. But because this is an average, we also have to know that there are going to be some people that need to do 20 visits before they get convinced. Now, fellow ads get a bad rap, quite rightly so. There's an awful lot of crook in the solo ad game. First of all, what is a solo ad? It's quite simply this. Somebody has an email list with X thousand people on it, and they say, I will send you, not just put you in my email, but I'll send you a guaranteed number of clicks. And what they're doing is somewhere in that email, either they send out solo, being it's just your ad gets sent out. There are email ads where you're one of many as well. They still get sold on the same marketplaces. So they're going to send out an email, and somewhere in that email will be effectively an ad. And it has adverts on it like that in the form of graphic blocks. These are effectively banners, right? There are still a lot of things where you can get banner exchanges. And a lot of people think, oh, this is great. I need traffic, so I'm going to go to a banner exchange. And every time I serve them up 3 clicks, they're going to give me 1 back. Well, that's all very well. But if your site's currently got no traffic, being a banner exchange is going to do you absolutely 0 good whatsoever. However, now, a lot of people at this point go, I don't want to be on video. I don't want to put my face on thing. Now, first of all, one thing I'm going to say to you is, if you can get over it, it will be the best thing you ever did. There is nothing that builds that know, like, and trust factor like them hearing your voice and or seeing your face. If you're really not comfortable about being on video, a popular thing to do these days as well, and you can put this on tube channels and things, it's like, if they fall into this category, there's something you have to understand about the importance of drilling down. So, Facebook, when you sign up as an advertiser, they're going to be super helpful to you. They're going to give you free training. They're going to show you all sorts of cool stuff. And because they want you to buy as many ads off them as you will. So when you go through the standard generic Facebook training and they talk about selecting your audience, they only talk in terms of demographics. And here's why. I'd love to think, with my experience, I can go, well, that's got the best headline, that's got the best this, that's got the best, it'd be this one. And I can do that a certain amount of the time, but I'm still wrong sometimes. And a great book that I highly recommend you pick up, again, I'm not an affiliate, I don't make anything out of this, I'm just mentioning these things. Now, hopefully, on the first test, you might be unlucky. You might lose most of that money because neither convert too well. But as you increase this, with each time you spend money, you're getting a higher conversion rate come out the other end. And when you get it to the point that you're like, I can't get this much better, then that's great. On a landing page that's just trying to get an email address, on an email capture page, what I'm typically trying to get my conversion rate is somewhere in there if I can. And some of you are looking at that going, shit, I'm only getting 10 to 20%. Yeah, because that's all I get on my first run. I might get a 5% conversion rate. And this goes back to what we said at the very beginning. You can drive 1 million visits to a terrible page and it'll make you nothing. Right? So this, what you're sending the traffic to, needs your most of your attention. See, I've seen so many people go, oh, I've got a website, I threw it up, and now I'm just buying clicks off here, but it's not really converting. Yeah, no kick, Sherlock. Viral marketing is an interesting thing to talk about because it's there's a lot of misnomer about it. There's a lot of misunderstanding. Whether something goes viral or not, you have got pretty much no control over. Because something going viral is purely down to the fact you put something out there that people like and it's getting shared. So viral marketing is all about this. And that membership site, many of the people in this room right now are members of it. And if you're not a member of it, why not? We started a thing called Society 11. Now, Society 11, the whole idea behind this, I'm going to give you a little potted history of it and then talk about how we guerrilla marketed it. We had become frustrated that sites like Warrior Forum and places like that had deteriorated into just a pitch fest, and it was basically idiots leading idiots. It was people asking real questions and getting terrible advice from people that didn't know what they were talking about, and then acting on their advice and getting hacked off. And the one thing that annoys me more than ever is ruining somebody else's dream, right? People want to build a business. People want to do something, and then they're taking advice off dickheads that are pretending they know what they're doing, and they don't. They've just heard a video or seen a thing and assumed, oh, I'll tell them that. No. We got fed up with that. And it was going more and more that way. So were several others. And we thought, you know what? The only way we can fix this is to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And so we came up with this idea of forming a group of like-minded ethical marketers who could get together and support and help each other, and we could give them tools and training and da-da-da-da-da-da. And that's what Society 11 became. So we had the idea. I actually had the domain name because I'm a bit of a domain name buyer at times. If I see a good name, and I'd always had this idea of a secret society. And so I actually literally, I sat down doing society and putting in any cool combination of numbers. I didn't want to be Society 36. I didn't think that would work. I didn't want to be Society 72. 66 might have worked. 666, although that's a bit too evil connotations. Society, 7, 11 have a nice one. I started going through, and this one was available. So I'd actually sat on this domain with that idea for a while. My holdup was I didn't have the time to do everything, nor did I have the skill set to deliver everything I wanted Society 11 to be able to do. But I knew somebody else. Remember, we talked about joint ventures earlier on. So I knew a guy called Kurt, and Kurt had a whole load of niffling experience and other stuff that was really valuable. We're good at doing the tech stuff. And I tend to be the one that talks in plain English to people so they can understand what Kurt's on about. We balanced each other out very well. And that was where Society 11 came from. But when we started it, it was like, we didn't even know what it was. We had this idea of a secret society. So we made these really weird videos, and they're still out there. You can go and research them and find them. But we made these videos that were just like very crackly, hitty, looked like interference. They had loads of odd clips cut together with just little mentions of Society 11. Are you in yet? And we plastered them around anything to do with internet marketing. Anything where we could dump a free ad, we dumped it, put the videos up. And you know what? People started sharing it. And what happened was this. Let's talk about the Branching Bridge page real quick, because this is really key as well. But it's for me. So, okay, earlier we talked about here's your money site. Money, money, money. So this is a site that's actually selling you the product, right? And I've told you that I have pages or sites that funnel into this. And one of my favorite type of pages for funneling into this is what I call a branching bridge page. What is a branching bridge page? A branching bridge page looks like a website because that's what it is. I am patient. I wait for my results, but while I'm waiting for them, I'm doing something else positive in my business. Um, you know, here's the thing. Here's why people run at this, and they keep running fast and they don't stop because they have a fear of failure. And if they're running so fast that they can't see the failure, it's not happening. Well, that's nonsense. It's happening whether you like it or not. Still haven't even spent a dime with you. Okay? They're all on your list. Probably costing you money to have them on your list. Do you just get rid of them? No. So here's what I do. I segment my list out. I know on my list, everyone that has ever spent money has got a cash tag against their name. And I don't care whether they have spent $1 or whether they have spent $1,000. Here's the thing. The people in this portion of my thing have the ability to pay and are prepared to use it. Down here, I don't know. But I'll tell you what I do know about all these people down here. They love a freebie. So what do I do with them if they haven't bought anything after a period of time? This goes back to how do you get people to do stuff? Do you give them more stuff for free? Well, yes and no. But you do it as traffic attract. All this stuff is the same sort of thing, right? If you are an agency, I know that you got a site, a rank and rent site. You need, say it's for plumbers or electricians because they're normally in a niche, right? So you got one for plumbers. Where do plumbers hang out? Where do plumbers hang out? Sometimes you've got to think outside the box a bit. So you've got to get into groups about plumbing supplies. You've got to get into groups about the things where the tradespeople hang out, not where the customers hang out, not where casual, how can I fix my own sink people hang out, but where actual tradespeople hang out. And that's when you want to get the ad in front of them. You will find dedicated forums and things. Car mechanics is a great one. You want to do rank and rent for car repairs and things like that. That's a huge market there. There are loads of independent, not the big guys, the little independents that are desperate to get people in their door, the little grease monkeys that are far more, those are the people you can reach.